Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Decided to come inside today. It is crazy windy outside. It's cold, but man, that wind would just knock you over. And I figured you probably want to hear what I say and not all the wind noise, so that's why I'm in today. Want to talk about all these truckers, all those people that are just the fringe minority, and we'll get to what I mean by that. I'm sure a lot of you know about it and have been hearing stuff, and so we're going to get into that here in just a minute. Before I get started, wanted to let you know, probably the last time I'll mention it before it happens, our meeting here locally is happening this weekend, this Sunday, January 30th at 2 p.m. is when the meeting starts. I'll have the doors open about noon. That way you can come and mingle, get to know each other. That's the main focus of the meeting. I'll be doing a presentation on surviving a grid down. And then we'll also be talking about more of what we're doing here on a local level, getting more and more organized, more and more prepared as a community for all this stuff that's going on. But again, the main focus is just to get to know each other and to make connections. It is a very family-friendly event. It is free, no charge. We have food available. People bring in food, and then myself, my wife, well, mostly my wife, she fixes a lot of stuff. If you're interested in helping in that way, somehow let me know. Shoot me an email so that we kind of have an idea of what to expect food-wise. If you're able to come, please come. We're in Texas County, Missouri. That's where the meeting is being held. It's in a very large building, so there's plenty of room. It's kind of out in the sticks, but hey, that's fine with us. So if you're able to make it, please let me know so I can give you the details of where we're at exactly, and that you can come in. It's kind of like, I tell people, it's kind of like going to a church potluck, where it's just kind of relaxed. Everyone's talking, getting to know each other, but then we do have a little official meeting going on. All right, so we have what we're hearing is a lot of truckers up in Canada really upset over road conditions. Well, at least that was the official narrative for a while, for at least a few days. The media was trying to spin it, that there was all these truckers doing this protest and convoy all the way to Ottawa, the capital of Canada, because they're really upset over the road conditions in Canada. Of course, you and I know that that's absolutely not true at all. And it seems that the media has finally come around to admitting that they're there protesting the mandates. As all of you should know, if you haven't, go back and watch the video a few days ago that I did. Canada issued some pretty strict mandates on truck drivers, as well as the United States, that basically no truck driver can cross going back and forth either way if you're not up to date. And they don't like that. And the interesting thing is from what I'm reading, that a good number of these truck drivers participating in this have admitted that they've gotten it, that they're up to date, they're boosted. But that's not the point. They're standing up for freedom, which is what we're supposed to do, right? Even if it's not directly affecting us, we need to stand up when tyranny is attacking freedom, whether it directly affects us or not. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, there isn't a lot of official information on this. I can't give you official numbers because officially, no media is really covering this at all. I mean, it's almost crickets. And when they do, even what would be considered mildly conservative media, like Fox News, they kind of downplay it a little bit. The United Kingdom, their American newspaper is covering it, but they're saying that it's only a 45-mile convoy, which is still pretty significant. But other reports on the ground are saying that it's a 300-plus mile convoy. We've seen reports that it's only 10,000 truck drivers. There's people on Twitter saying that it's just a few hundred truck drivers. But the organizers and those involved are saying that we're talking over 50,000 trucks, 300-mile convoys headed to the capital of Canada. There's also reports of American truck drivers getting involved in this, the ones that can cross, and there again, if they're crossing into Canada to support this convoy, and there's reports of thousands of them, These are truck drivers that have their paperwork up to date, and yet they're still getting involved in this, supporting freedom and not tyranny. I think this is a good thing. I know that a lot of you, maybe not, maybe not. Let me retract that. I know that a lot of people, maybe not you, but a lot of people are going to say this is just going to damage the supply chain. It's going to cause inflation to go up. It's going to make it difficult to get stuff to our stores, because every one of those trucks that are running in this protest is that one truck more that's not delivering to your local store, your local parts store, local warehouse, wherever it is. And so, yes, it is. It has a strong, very likely potential of putting a real hurt on the supply chain, especially in Canada, but even in the United States, because as I've talked earlier in previous videos, we get a lot of stuff that come through on our northern border. So even if it was only Canadian trucks that were involved in this, it's still going to affect us here in the States. And now that we're hearing that there are more and more American truck drivers getting involved in this, and I've even seen rumors that there's a movement to try to get American truck drivers to do basically the same thing, headed to Washington. I would love to see that. And I understand that it could cause some hurt and some pain in the supply chain. But folks, we have to realize that where we are at right now in all this, we have to be willing to endure that. You know, you don't go out and you don't win freedom by just posting something online, okay? Freedom is not gained through easy means. Freedom is only gained through very tough, very dramatic means to get there. In fact, Thomas Jefferson once said that the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants, that it is its natural manure. So if we are serious about ending the tyranny that we're seeing happen on a daily basis around us by our government and governments of the world, and this continually growing to this one world entity to rule, one world entity to rule us all, then we have to be willing at times to accept that there's going to be consequences along the way for that we're going to have tough times, that we're going to feel some hurt. And so I'm all for this. And I'm not a truck driver, and I never have been. My father was retired as a truck driver. And I want to say this. I want to challenge all you American truck drivers. Don't let them Canadians make us look bad, okay? I mean, you know, it's the Americans that are known for standing up and fighting for freedom, you know, that kind of stuff. Don't let them Canadians make us look bad, all right? I mean, I'm fully supporting of you Canadian guys up there and gals doing this, and I'm impressed. But American truck drivers, don't let us down, okay? We got your back if you do this also. The fact is, there's a good chance they may not, the governments may not, you know, pay any attention to them. We've seen what's happened in places like France and Germany, where there have been very large protests of the people against their mandates. This has happened over the last several weeks, last few months, where there's been tens of thousands of people fill the streets, and sometimes it's become very violent. And those governments haven't backed down at all. So it's very possible, especially considering how strongly emboldened and seem to be strongly ingrained into this great reset that Canada and the Prime Minister of Canada is. I have a gut feeling it's unlikely that it's going to have great change. Now, I'm not being a wet blanket, don't get me wrong. In the long run, that could be a good thing also. But don't expect immediate results. You know, when we get to this stage in a fight for freedom, you have to be in it for the long haul. You have to be resilient and understand that there may be battles along the way that's lost, and that's okay. We have a greater goal than that. It's interesting that about the time that this started heating up, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, announced that he has been in contact with someone that could be positive of the, you know, that thing. And so he's just going to go ahead and self-isolate. He hasn't tested positive that we know of. At least it hasn't been released, or I haven't seen it. But he just decided to go into hiding. I mean, self-quarantining, just in case. It's also been leaked in the media that the other ministers in Canada, at the Parliament, have been told to basically keep their mouth shut and stay away from the media. Don't get involved in this, hide away, sneak away. I mean, maybe not in those words, but that's basically what it is. Finally, a couple of days ago, the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, he finally admitted, at least in somewhat of a way, what's actually going on with these. I want you to listen to this clip, the condescending way that he says this. I mean, this sounds like he's said other things like this, other world leaders that are obviously fully engaged into this great reset, including our own here in America. Listen to what he says, and the twisting of just the twist. I mean, it's like mental gymnastics to think that more tyranny leads to freedom. I mean, it's flat out 1984 newspeak. Listen to this clip here.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
So there you have it, folks. The small, very fringe minority. These people are tiny. They're insignificant. They're crazy. They're deplorables. They're degenerates. They're not accepted people in society. These are extremists, and we don't associate with them. That's what he's saying. And that the vast majority of the citizens are on the other side. And that's the exact same kind of language that we've heard out of the White House and that we've heard from other world leaders. That you and I are such a small fringe that we don't even matter anymore. Small fringes can make a lot of noise. You know, our revolution was fought by about 3% of the population at that time, and only estimates only about 13% of the population were actually in support of it, you know, behind the scenes and stuff. So that's a pretty small group of people that brought us into the country that we know today. So don't be discouraged at that. Folks, for us as preppers, we should get prepared even more. This continues. If this lasts any length of time, it is most definitely going to hurt the supply chain. And I'm not down, you know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You've heard me already. That's a good thing. But you and I should get ready for that. Continue stocking up. Preparing as much as you can. Think of the things, not just food. Food is important, and you should certainly be stocking up on food. But think of other things. What are some other things that you use on a regular basis that you really don't want to be without, that would obviously come in on trucks? Parts for equipment that you use on a regular basis, maybe, you know, personal hygiene items, whatever it is. It wouldn't hurt to stock up a little bit more than maybe you already are doing, because if this protest in Canada continues and it continues to grow down here in the United States, we all know what that means when trucks stop rolling, how it affects the supply chain. So get ready, folks. Thank you for watching. Hope a lot of you can make it to the meeting this weekend. I think it's going to be another big one. We usually have 200 to 300 people. I've been getting just tons and tons of emails of people saying that they're coming, so I think it's going to be another big one. You know what? I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while. We had to take a little time off doing that, an extra month, so it's been almost 2 months, and I'm ready to get going with it. It's draining in one way, but it's also energetic in another way of being around so many like-minded people. Folks, thanks for watching today, and I'll catch you in the next video.